Good evening. Today we turn our focus to the Middle East, where tensions have surged as Israeli forces launch a significant military operation against Hamas in the Gaza Strip. This operation is the latest chapter in the ongoing Israeli-Palestinian conflict, marked by ceasefire violations, security concerns exacerbated by the recent Hamas attacks on Israeli cities, and the pressing need to understand the broader context. In this comprehensive report, we will delve into the intricate web of factors contributing to this operation, motivations behind it, and the far-reaching consequences for both the region and the world. To truly comprehend the events unfolding in the Gaza Strip, we must first navigate the tumultuous waters of history. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict, a struggle for self-determination, has spanned decades, leaving deep scars and unresolved issues. At the heart of this conflict lies the Gaza Strip, a narrow piece of land along the Mediterranean, home to a dense Palestinian population, and controlled by Hamas, an Islamist militant organization. Hamas's core goal is the establishment of an independent Palestinian state, often employing violence as a means to achieve this objective. The operation against Hamas comes as a response to repeated ceasefire violations. Ceasefire agreements, designed to maintain peace and reduce hostilities, have repeatedly been breached by both sides. Rockets launched from Gaza into Israeli territory unretaliated. Airstrikes by Israel have led to the deterioration of these tenuous peace agreements, and these violations escalated, putting additional strain on an already precarious situation. The Israeli government's primary motivation for the military operation is to protect its citizens from the ongoing rocket attacks and security threats originating from the recent attack on the Gaza Strip. The imperative to degrade Hamas's military capabilities is central to ensuring the safety of Israeli citizens. However, the international community is keeping a vigilant eye on the situation, calling for restraint and emphasizing the importance of minimizing civilian casualties in this challenging conflict. Water and supplies cut off in the Gaza Strip. The military operation against Hamas in the Gaza Strip has severe consequences, not the least of which is the disruption of essential supplies, including water and humanitarian aid, in the region. 1. Water shortages. The Gaza Strip has long suffered from water shortages due to a combination of factors, including population growth, contamination of water sources, and limited access to clean water. With the ongoing military operation, access to clean water becomes even scarcer. The destruction of infrastructure and disruptions in the delivery of water services can leave many Gazans without a reliable source of potable water. This raises serious public health concerns as clean water is essential for drinking, sanitation, and hygiene. 2. Humanitarian aid disruption. The military operation often results in logistical challenges for humanitarian organizations operating in the region. They face obstacles in delivering critical supplies such as food, medical equipment, and shelter materials. These organizations play a crucial role in alleviating the suffering of civilians caught in the crossfire. When their access is impeded, it leaves many vulnerable populations without the support they desperately need. 3. Impact on health services. The disruption of medical supply chains is particularly concerning. Gazans rely on functioning hospitals and clinics to provide medical care, especially during times of conflict. However, the operation can hinder the movement of medical personnel and critical supplies, putting the health and lives of civilians at risk. The inability to access essential medicines and equipment can have dire consequences for those with chronic illnesses or injuries sustained during the conflict. 4. Infrastructure damage. Military operations inevitably lead to the destruction of infrastructure, including roads, bridges, and utilities. The damage to infrastructure affects the distribution of goods and services, making it difficult for aid to reach those in need. It also hampers the movement of people, including medical personnel, making it challenging to provide urgent care and assistance. 5. Vulnerable populations. The most vulnerable in this situation are the elderly, children, and those with pre-existing health conditions. They rely heavily on humanitarian aid and access to clean water for their well-being. When these essential supplies and services are disrupted, it places an undue burden on those who are least able to endure such hardships. 6. Humanitarian response. Humanitarian organizations and the international community have a critical role to play in addressing these challenges. They must work to ensure the continuity of aid delivery, despite the difficult circumstances. This often involves negotiating access and safe passage with all parties involved in the conflict. 7. International concern. The interruption of basic supplies and services, particularly clean water and humanitarian aid, is a matter of grave concern for the international community. Many countries and international organizations are monitoring the situation and calling for the protection of civilians and unimpeded access for humanitarian assistance. The military operation against Hamas in Gaza does not exist in a vacuum. It has broader regional implications, potentially involving neighboring countries and regional actors. This adds an additional layer of complexity to the already fragile stability in the Middle East. The potential for a larger regional conflict remains a significant concern for the international community. Another critical aspect to consider is how such military operations impact peace negotiations. Trust-building measures and diplomatic efforts are often undermined during times of conflict. The ongoing violence can make it exceedingly challenging to find a peaceful resolution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, pushing the prospects of peace further into the future. The power of the media and its impact on public opinion should not be underestimated. Images and reports of civilian casualties and destruction during military operations are often widely disseminated, influencing global perception. The way these events are covered and presented in the media can shape how the international community views the situation and the parties involved. In response to the operation, the international community has expressed a wide range of opinions and responses. Some countries have called for restraint and de-escalation, while others have expressed support for Israel's right to defend itself. Diplomatic efforts, including the United Nations and other international organizations, are underway to mediate the conflict. The regional response is equally diverse, with neighboring countries weighing in on the situation. In summary, the military operation against Hamas in the Gaza Strip has severe implications for water and supply access, exacerbating the already challenging living conditions in the region. Ensuring the well-being of civilians, especially the most vulnerable, requires a concerted effort by humanitarian organizations and diplomatic pressure to allow critical supplies to reach those in need. Despite the ongoing conflict, this underscores the urgency of addressing both immediate and long-term humanitarian concerns in the Gaza Strip. One of the most pressing issues is the humanitarian concerns arising from military operations in densely populated areas like Gaza. Civilians, who often have no role in the conflict, become collateral damage. Access to basic necessities such as medical care, food, shelter, clean water being the most pressing issue at the moment, becomes increasingly challenging, creating a difficult humanitarian crisis. This puts tremendous pressure on the international community to monitor, respond, and provide aid to the affected population. Thank you for joining us in today's video. If you enjoyed what you saw, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this. Your support helps us to bring you more content. And as always, if you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Stay tuned for further insights and analysis as we closely follow this dynamic situation in the Middle East, where the stakes are high and the path forward remains uncertain. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.